Hi, it's Maureen. Happy New Year! Welcome to this January bullet journal video. For this spread, I'm using Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, and Highland Heather ink pads from Stampin' Up. I'll also be using this mitten from the Celebrate with Tags stamp set. If you're new to my channel, thanks for checking me out. Let's get started with a flip through of my December layout. I had so much fun making this layout. You'll notice that I have added some washi tape stickers from the washi tape store to the bottom of some of my pages. They were so cute that I just couldn't resist adding them. I purchased them to add to my envelopes for Christmas cards, but when I saw them, I knew I had to stick them in my journal too. Since I began a new journal in September, I'm not going to do a new setup bullet journal video. I am just going to add one page here as a hello to 2023. I am using some craft wrapping paper and I just cut it at 2.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to make like a sign that says 2023. So I'm using some adhesive and I'm going to adhere it to the center of my page on the right. Once I have it there, I'm going to grab my gel pen, my black gel pen, and I am going to write out the word 20. And then with my Zig pen, I'm going to write 23, just to give it some variety instead of just writing 2023. I thought I would write 20 out as a word and then write the numbers 23. Or the numbers 2 and 3 for 23. So now I am going to create the string or the rope to make it hang like a sign. And there we go for 2023. I decided to put some lines around my tag, or my sign, just for some interest. So you can see I wrote some lines and I have some dots there. On the left side, I have just a quick little phrase, and it says, "Let this be a year to collect moments." And I have this here because I feel like the days are moving so quickly, and I want to take time to be present and in the moment. So that's why I added that there. On the right side, I'm adding some dots in my little line, so it's almost like a cross, but not quite. So I have 2 lines up and down and then 2 lines going across. It just adds more interest to the page. Now I'm using my gold gel pen and filling a dot in the center of those lines. And now I'm going to add a drop shadow to the bottom of my 2023 sign. And I think that is it for this page. On the next page, I am going to get ready for my Hello January page. So I'm using the Celebrate with Tags stamp set, and I'm pulling out all of these dies, and I'm going to only use 2 of them. I'm going to use the mittens and the snowflake. I did not include that in the video because the dies are no longer available. The stamp set is still available, but the dies are not. I am adding the mitten onto one of my acrylic blocks. The acrylic blocks come separately from the stamp set. So if you purchase a stamp set from Stampin' Up, you also want to order some acrylic dies. I'm going to ink this up in the Highland Heather, and I'm going to stamp it on some vellum. This mitten image only comes one way, so in order for me to have a pair of mittens, I decided to stamp it on vellum, and then that way I could cut it apart or dye it, use my dies and cut it out and then flip one over so that I could have mittens going either way. I also cut out or die cut some snowflakes to go inside my book. If you don't have these stamp sets, you can always draw some mittens. You can use any snowflake stamps that you might have, or you could draw snowflakes out as well. To get started for this page, I am going to write a quote. You know, I love to include a quote in my bullet journal, so for each month. So for this one, the quote is, "The best time for new beginnings is now." You can see that I varied my font again. I like to have some printing, I like to have some hand lettering, and now I'm going to use the markers. These markers are the same colors as my ink stamp sets, my ink stamps, my ink pads. They're the same colors, so I am using Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, and Highland Heather inks, all from Stampin' Up. They will also be in the description. I alternated the colors to write the words "is now" because again, I like to have some of my words stand out. I'm using my black gel pen to trace around the letters, and here's my complete quote. The best time for new beginnings is now. You can always start fresh every day. All right, here we go. So I'm taking those mittens that I stamped on the vellum, and if you stamp on vellum, you do want to take time to let it dry. You can use a heating tool and do it on a light setting, so not your hottest setting, and then you can use that to dry the ink on vellum, or you can let it sit. I did let mine sit overnight, and then the next night the next day is when I decided to use them. So I am going to I'm going to adhere these mittens on the right side. I am using some of my liquid glue. You can also find that at Stampin' Up. And I am adhering my mittens to the right side. I'm starting with the Balmy Blue color because I love these colors for the winter. Winter is a time that's cold, and I think of these colors because they're cold colors, and they're also happy colors, so that's why I chose them. You can see my two mittens there, and I'm trying to make sure the glue stays under the vellum and doesn't come out, because if the glue comes out, that's not fun because your pages will stick together. Now I am attaching a string. I love the look of mittens with a string. It brings me back to my childhood when we used to have a way to connect our mittens to our coats so that we wouldn't lose them. I don't know if people still do that anymore, but I love the look of it for drawing it in my bullet journal. So you can see that I have I'm going to call it a piece of yarn attached to my mittens, and I am coloring them. Every other space will be colored using Fresh Freesia, but first I'm drawing lines in between to make different sections, and then I will begin coloring them in using Fresh Freesia. Before I color them in, I decided to write out January, and I am using the smaller tip, the fine tip from the Fresh Freesia marker. And once I wrote it out, it didn't look as thick for me, so I did go back in and give it an extra line in there so that it did look like hand lettering. So on every downstroke, I went in and made that line thicker. And that is another way that you can do faux hand lettering. So if you're not comfortable with hand lettering, you can write your word out, and then where the downstrokes would be, you can go back in and just make those lines thicker. And I'm doing that here because I wanted January to be written in a finer tip, but I didn't have a finer tip of this color. So I used that fine tip and then just made it thicker in sections. Now I am adding stars around the mittens just to make it look more interesting. So I'm going to add some stars using my Fresh Freesia. I'm also going to add some stars using that was actually Highland Heather. Now I'm using Fresh Freesia. So Fresh Freesia stars, and then when I am finished with the Fresh Freesia, I will add some Balmy Blue stars. Now I could just leave my stars like this, but in order to make them pop, I am going to grab my Zig marker and I'm going to trace around them and make them a little bit more defined, and it also makes them pop off the page a little bit more. So you'll see here as I begin to trace around the stars, it adds more interest to the page and it makes those stars pop out a bit. to do that for all of the stars on this page. So while I'm finishing that up, I'd like to know what themes you are thinking about or what theme you're thinking about for this month. Let me know in the comments what theme you chose for the month of January. I know my video came out a bit late this month. I'll try to do better for February. What did you decide on for your theme? Add a comment below and let me know what you chose to do. Now I'm adding a little bit of some dots in there, so some small circles, and then I'm going to add some asterisks because asterisks look like snowflakes and they fit on the page if you have mittens. So if you see mittens, you see snow. So my asterisks are like snowflakes, and now I'm just adding some dots in there with all the different colors that I have. And there we go. Now the last touch for this page is to add some of those snowflakes that I die cut earlier. I die cut the snowflakes in the very same colors using balmy blue, using the fresh freesia, and also using the Highland Heather cardstock. So Stampin' Up sells the cardstock, Stampin' Up sells the inks, and Stampin' Up sells the markers. And I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I can help you with any of your crafty needs. So if any of this looks interesting to you, you can leave me a message or you can check out my Stampin' Up page and I will link that below as well. This stamp set is available until, I'm really not sure when it ends, but it is available. So I'll link that information below and you can purchase that stamp set. The dies, however, are no longer available. I did use them for this video, but I sort of cut that part out of the video since I can't help you find them. I didn't want to put all that in there, but I am going to add some snowflakes to this page. I am using my liquid glue again, and I'm going to adhere the Highland Heather, the fresh freesia snowflake, and then also a balmy blue snowflake to the bottom. And actually I am going to put a Highland Heather one in there too. And I think this just adds a bit more to my quote there and just makes the whole page come together. You have snowflakes on the left and then mittens on the right. And it really didn't take a whole lot to create this page. The longest part probably was the die cutting, but the rest of it just really came together very quickly. Now, this next page, somehow I did not film, and I don't know why. I thought I was filming. I thought I pressed record, but somehow I did not record it. So this next page is my January calendar page. If you want a good look at it, you can freeze the video right here. And, well, not here, but very soon. You'll be able to freeze the video and you can see what I did for the calendar. There it is. And you can see I have the mittens with a very long cord around them. And everything else is pretty much like the other pages. All right, so let's jump on to the next page. The very next page is my one line a day or my gratitude page. I am going to grab some fresh freesia mittens and I am sticking on some of that liquid glue and adhering it to the top portion of my page. And when I make my yarn ties or my string, we'll call it string on this page. When I create the string for the mittens, at first I was just going to do like a line of string like that and leave it. But later you'll see I decide to add another line in there and make it thicker and make it thicker to look like yarn like the other pages. So now I am stamping one and then I'm going to write out the words line a day. I love this alphabet stamp set. This I bought from Amazon a long time ago when Stampin' Up didn't have letters available. They do have letters now, but I will also link this stamp set in the description in case you want to find it for yourself. It's a fun stamp set to have. So I numbered my one line a day from 1 to 31 for all of the days of the month. And each day I am going to write down a highlight of the day, something that I was grateful for, something that made me smile, something that made me happy. I will be writing that on the left side. You can see that I used my gray Tombow. I think it's an N95. I will link that in the description as well. And I like to color in every other line, and it just helps to fill the page in so it's not a blank looking page. And then also it helps me to stay in the lines or in the space when I am writing my gratitude line for the day. You can see that I added some stars again using the same 3 colors. I traced around it with my Zig pen again to help them to pop out and make this page look more interesting. It seems kind of busy, but not too busy. I have little circles that I'm adding, and I'm going to put some asterisk snowflakes in there again. Really simple and easy. Remember, if you don't have this mittens stamp, you can easily draw mittens and color them in. That's another option. So now you can see I'm going in and making that second line so that I can have more like a cord for my mittens. And I am coloring in every other space using Highland Heather. I love having the mittens stretch from one page to the other. It just helps the page kind of come together. Even though I am doing 2 different things, it makes the page look more connected. So on the right side, I am going to be stamping out the word dashboard because this is my dashboard page, and the dashboard page is like, if you think about a website, the dashboard is where you have your menu options. So for this page, I am going to have 4 different sections, and in those 4 different sections, it's going to be how I organize myself for the month. So I've stamped dashboard using the alphabet stamps, and I am going to now make 4 sections so that I can keep these items all separate. On the left side, I'm going to write the word home. And in that section, things that I need to do for the home, I will write those things there. So it's a way to put tasks in. I also have a section for stamping, a section for errands, and a section for computer. So things that I need to get done on the computer, I will put there, whether it's pay bills or whatever it might be. You can see here that I am again making that downstroke thicker to make that faux hand lettering for fun. This stamp set, although I only use the mittens from this stamp set, it does have other images. So you could also find hearts in the stamp set. There's a balloon in the stamp set, and it also has some wording like made with love, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, to, from. There's an XOXO and a Be Jolly. So it's a great stamp set for lots of uses. I am only using the mittens here to make it my January winter page, but you could certainly use this stamp set for other things. And if you make a purchase on my Stampin' Up store before the end of January, I will send you a card using this stamp set. It might be with the mittens, or it might be with snowflakes, or the balloon, or the hearts. Okay, let's jump into my last spread. On this page, I am getting ready for my weeklies. Sometimes I use 2 pages to create 1 week. And then sometimes I put 1 week on one side of the page and another week on the other side of the page. I'm going to do that one this time. So this 2-page layout here is going to be for 2 different weeks. On the left side, this will be the week starting with January 2nd, and on the right side will be the week starting with January 9th. So what I'm going to do is I am going to list my events on the left side. So things that are particular to a day. So like, let's say on the 5th, which is a Thursday, I have a dentist appointment. So I will write dentist on this under next to the T for Thursday, because that is something that is specific to a day. For the center where I'm writing tasks, I will put the different things that I need to get done for this week or next week. So whether, because I'm a teacher, there are different things that I do with students. I might have to assess certain students. I will put that on there as my things that I might need to do. For home, if I need to go grocery shopping, I will put that on the tasks. So the left side task will be for work. The right side tasks will be for home. And even though it's through a 2-week span, I am going to do it that way. You can see that I've made my lines using the gray Tombow marker. I like to go in and put an extra line at the bottom. It just makes the page look more interesting and more formal, I think. So I have added that here. And I am coming to the end of my video. Now I'm just adding the stars. I'm going to add some circles. I'm going to add asterisks to pull it all together. And I will also be adding some snowflakes again. You can see me here just tracing around those stars, helping them to pop out to give my page a little bit of interest. I will also be adding circles and asterisks here. And I am really liking this layout. I've never done it in this exact form, but I can see myself doing this again. So I appreciate that you have tuned in to watch me create my January bullet journal. Thank you so much for joining me. I would also appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up, if you would subscribe, and then also click on the bell to get notified when I upload a new video. That would make my day. So we're going to get ready for a flip through after I write January at the top. And as a reminder, everything that I use will be linked in the description below. I will also have my Stampin' Up! Host code for January. So if you make a purchase, you want to use this host code, and I will send you a card using this stamp set. Now I am adding snowflakes in. Using that liquid adhesive again, I'm going to put a Highland Heather snowflake at the bottom, and I have a fresh freesia at the top. And I'm just using a little bit of this glue so that it will not stick outside of those snowflakes, because I don't want my pages to stick. So there you have it. That's my 2-week weekly spread. I'll be doing the same for the rest of the month to make it nice and easy. Let's get ready for a flip through all the way back to the beginning. Here are all of my pages. Thanks again for joining me. Please remember to subscribe. Remember to hit the thumbs up, and remember to click on the bell to get notified when I upload a new video. So thanks again. Bye-bye.